Welcome to KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice, telling the stories of Kansas City nonprofits and the people behind them. KC Cares is proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. The arts have suffered exponentially since the beginning of the pandemic. Americans for the Arts predicts that nonprofit arts and culture institutions, not predicts, but reports that they've suffered losses of up to $200 million. Now, let's bring that down to Kansas City. We have had a robust theatrical community, performing arts, but things are shuttered. The Kansas City Ballet recently canceled the remainder of their current season. Performers, administrators, technicians are out of regular work. And like so many, they're struggling right now. But there is a glimmer of hope. There's a newer organization in our community, the Theater Community Fund, and I'm delighted to have with me today Alexandria Washington, who is board president of this new nonprofit. Welcome, Alexandria. It's so great to see you.
Good morning. I so appreciate this interview and just the opportunity to talk and chat about Theater Community Fund with you today.
Best place to start. How did you start this organization? And let's dive into why.
What happened was our executive director, Jake Walker, who is born and bred Kansas City theater actor, he, at the beginning of the pandemic, was struggling. And he started reaching out to his friends and people in the theater community, and they helped him. And he's going, this is what people need, this kind of network of assistance. And the theater community is so tight knit. And it is, if you need something, you can reach out to your friends, the artistic directors in town. And so he said, how can we make this more available to our struggling community right now? Because all the theaters were shut down, no productions, no work. And so he started to reach out to different folks in the community to ask them to be on the board. And we started Theater Community Fund. We got our bylaws done. We came up with our mission statement, and it's grown incredibly fast. We started board meetings probably in August, and then we really started to hit the ground in September with how we were going to be able to assist the theater community and what we could do and what that would look like.
It kind of reminds me of the Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney, hey kids, let's put on a show.
Yes, and he was inspired by, there's a couple of different actors funds in the country, but there's nothing like this in Kansas City right now. And so there's the Denver Actors Fund, there is the Actors Fund based out of New York, and that's available nationally. But again, we're kind of going, what can we do for Kansas City theater artists? And we also didn't want to just box ourselves into only helping actors. So we're including arts administrators, technicians, if you work in theater, we want to help.
And how many people is that? Give us some scale for those who are not familiar with the performing arts community.
If you want to total it all up, there's probably 1,000 arts workers in Kansas City. And so that would include the ballet, the opera, that would include lighting designers, set designers, that includes actors, it includes the arts administrators that work behind the scenes, but definitely at least 1,000 people are employed in Kansas City alone.
So I'm fascinated about how you went and put this together. When we have had conversations with other nonprofits, it's not always easy. So share with us how you assembled this and what were some of the resources maybe that you reached out to help you create this new nonprofit?
That's another thing that's so great about the theater community, and how when you grow up in it, you have all different sorts of resources and all sorts of mentors. And so Jake worked very closely on the HR side of things, coming up with the bylaws with Jessie Salisbury, a great theater supporter. And she's not on our board, but she really helped draft our bylaws and kind of help us shape and form what our executive board looks like. And then really, we just reached out to the different people that we knew. Jake is very close with Jeff Church at the Coterie. And one of my mentors, I went to Avila University. And so one of my mentors is Gene Mackey, the executive director over at Theater for Young America. He cast me in my first show as a freshman, and we've just been best buds ever since. But I reach out to him and ask him, budget questions, and go, hey, what's this piece supposed to look like? And, what kind of accounting software do we need? And so we're quite lucky that the board is made up of 10 individuals, and we all kind of use our different resources. And we've also been chatting with the greater Kansas City Community Foundation, and I'm also having a meeting with Nonprofit Connect soon. So there's just a wealth of resources. If you are like, I'm going to start a nonprofit in Kansas City, there is help, because we do not know it all. So the fact that those resources are available to us, we are always actively being like, we have this question about how to do this. Let's call this person and have a Zoom meeting with them. And so we're lucky to be in the pandemic, kind of, because we also have the time to dedicate to this project and organization.
So what is the fund doing right now? How are you helping and assisting those 1,000 or so folks that may need support right now?
Jake always has envisioned the Theater Community Fund as being three-pronged. So the first way that we're assisting the theater community right now is through our food bank. We have a food bank form on our website, which is theaterfundkc.org, and you just fill out that form. It has little details of, are you gluten-free, or what kind of size is your household, and then we'll assemble packages, and you can either pick them up at Unicorn Theater, or we have, I'll get to the volunteers in a moment, but we will have a volunteer deliver it to you, because oftentimes, your car breaks down or you don't have transportation. And so we definitely want to make sure it's as accessible as possible. But we also now recently established a food drop-off dedicated day at Unicorn Theater. And so that's always going to be on Mondays from noon until 2 p.m. You just pull into the north parking lot and you can donate items, or you can request a package and we'll bring it out to your car. So that's a really great way that I think that we're assisting. And, it's not a full-fledged food pantry, right? We don't have a fridge or anything like that, but if we can help you save a few dollars on your groceries, please reach out, and we'll help you out for the week or the month or whatever you really need. And our donors for that have been incredible. We've had some really successful food drives at the Coterie. We've had food drives with the Kansas City Rep. So the community, and that includes the actors and technicians, have donated to the food bank. So that is running very smoothly, and we just got a new request yesterday. So again, I'm like, if people do need assistance, please reach out for that.
Can somebody host a drive for you? And if so, how would they go about doing that?
They can. That information is also on the website, but you can just send us an email at kctheaterfund@gmail.com. And if you do have, we had the Barstow School, the kids, the theater kids there did a food drive for us. KC Aerial Arts did a holiday drive for us, and we got holiday cheer items to package up for one of our giveaways that we try to do once a month. So definitely reach out if you're willing or able to host a drive for TCF, because again, the requests are coming in quite frequently. And so anytime we do a drive, it is usually depleted after because of the resources that we give out. So thank you for asking that.
And so your other pillars or prongs are what? You have the food bank and food assistance.
Yes, the next one would be our volunteer ensemble. Being in theater, we thought it was kind of cute, the ensemble. So sometimes with trying to help financially with things, people have to move, and you don't necessarily have the funds to hire movers. So we have our volunteer ensemble to basically be the boots on the ground for the organization. If you need help moving or you need the food packages delivered to you, we have a wealth of incredible people helping us right now. Bill Christie, Jan Cole, those people have just been really, really helpful in assisting. So also, if people want to sign up to be a volunteer for TCF, hopefully in the future, when the pandemic is over, we'll have events and fundraisers. And so we're just building that up to really be a resource of, if even if a theater is like, oh, our costume shop shut down and we need to move this to here, we'll have those resources available as well. So that is the second tier of TCF, what we're doing right now.
And your third tier?
The third tier is direct financial assistance, which again, because the theaters are shuttered and we don't really know when they'll be able to come back. In fact, everyone's kind of looking towards summer going, oh, maybe we'll start being able to do productions, but there's going to be a lot of recovery involved. And so how can we help assist financially? And so Theater League reached out to us in November, and through them, TCF were able to designate different applications and applicants to our grant. And so we've been doing that, and people are starting to receive their funds, and those were grants of $500. Again, TCF just assisted Theater League with that. But we also now are currently working, because of very, very generous donors that we've had, we're going to have a monthly emergency grant. And so that is, you can apply once a month, and then we will assist with a cell phone bill or an electric bill, or if you get a flat tire. And so we had dedicated funds in our fiscal year 2021 budget to be able to do at least 4 of those a month moving forward. And then we'll also want to implement just regular grants of, if you want to have a production or you need assistance for a Zoom reading of a new play that you wrote, we're going to work on that. But our first thing that we are trying to do by February is going to have this emergency monthly grant and provide financial assistance, and fast financial assistance, probably a 7-day turnaround from when you request the funds to when we'll be able to disperse them.
That's amazing. We hear a lot of collaboration going on right now. How did this partnership with Theater League come about?
We were just doing regular press and sending out press releases, and I'm not sure if they saw us on Facebook or liked our Facebook page, and Mark Edelman just reached out to Jake and said, hey, we have these funds available. Can you help us, try to decipher and figure out how many people we can assist and who those people are? And also, so we made TCF made the actual grant application. We put it on our website, and then we sent it out to all the professional theaters in town to make sure that people were aware of the funds that were available. So we're still giving them out too. So I'm like, go on the website. If you do need help and you have not received the grant yet, there's still time to apply. So those are until the funds are depleted.
Can you share with us who some of the folks are that the organizations
I'm pardon.
for the funds that Theater League is partnering with you? You said there've already been some of the area arts organizations that have.
It's actually just individuals. So
It's individuals.
yeah,
Excuse
yeah.
me.
So it's going to artists, it's going to set designers, it's going to lighting designers, it's going to stage managers that are out of work. So yeah, they're individual grants. Sorry, I did not clarify.
No, that's fine. That's fine. What does the community look like right now? Where are we at? Maybe pre-pandemic and now. Have we lost many organizations?
So far, everyone is kind of just trucking through COVID. No one has thankfully shuttered yet. And now with the new PPP money coming out, I'm hoping that these organizations can get more funding because a lot of them got the money from the CARES Act. And so everyone is kind of on hold. Some people were doing things in the fall outdoors, like the KC Rep had the Ghost Light performance, the Coterie did Electric Poe, and TCF had food drives at those performances. But lately everyone's kind of just doing as much as they can, fundraising, grant writing, and just trying to hold out until we can safely gather on the stage again. But so far everyone is just holding on as tight as possible. And unfortunately, workers have been furloughed and they are out of work. And, reading through those Theater League grant applications was just so touching to hear people's stories about how they're handling and navigating through these times. But so far, I hope that people can just wait till we get vaccinated, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're not there yet, but it's close. It's close.
We need to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to talk with Alexandria about the Theater Community Fund and all the great work that's going on. Welcome back. We're talking with Alexandria Washington, who's president of the Theater Community Fund, the newest kid on the block, so to speak. And so glad to have you. Well, share with us a little bit about your own theatrical background. They didn't just find you on the corner and say, hey, can you come help us?
They did not. I have always been involved in theater. One of my earliest theater productions was, I feel like everyone's first production was Wizard of Oz. And, and being a munchkin. But I was very into cooking, and I thought that maybe I'm going to go to culinary school. My family lives in Overland Park. I went to St. Thomas Aquinas, and I just remember being like, okay, like theater, I don't know if it can be like a career. I don't know if that's something feasible for me. And I've always been that person of being, I want to be successful. And, I was just like, theater life is sometimes very unstable, but my parents were always very, very supportive of me. And, I said, I kind of want to give this theater thing a try. And they said, okay, like, we trust you. It's your decision. It's your life. It's your job, and whatever makes you happy. And I just, count my blessings that I had such a supportive family unit. So I went to Avila University. I got kind of recruited by Robert Falk. He's no longer at Avila anymore, but just a brilliant, brilliant man and teacher and mentor. And I just started doing theater. I was a theater undergrad, a dance minor. And again, I met Jean Mackey there. And so my first professional production was Harriet Tubman. And I was a junior in college at Avila. And I was doing the main stage show, and TYA had an actor drop out. And so they were like, who can we get? Who can we get? I wasn't really available because I was going to classes, but excuse me. And so I did that show and just really, really was like, oh, this is great. I really love it. It reinvigorated me. And so I graduated. I was doing shows around town, but I was kind of still not fulfilled. And so I went back to Avila 2 years after I got my undergrad degree, and I got my master's in organization development. At the same time, I was doing a Theater for Young America show, and Jean said, we need help in the office. And I'm going, yeah, I could do some business stuff on the theater side. And so I kind of made that switch. And for 10 years, I wrote grants, I did fundraising, I did marketing, and then I still didn't really leave Theater for Young America, but then I transitioned to Unicorn Theater to be the marketing director there. And so I was there for a couple of years, and then I went corporate.
But you've always had that heart in the theater.
Oh, always. I mean, my earliest memories are my mom taking me and my brother to see The Phantom of the Opera and going to see Madame Butterfly. And so the arts have just always been in my household. And growing up, it was just so important to have access to that. And it's so unfortunate that some people don't grow up with that access, but that's a whole nother tangent. Education matters.
Well, but to bring it back to the Theater Community Fund, how has your experiences as performer, as administrator, and now in the corporate world, how has that helped you as you're moving this nonprofit along?
I mean, my experience counts for everything. It's one of those, it was a daunting task to be voted board president, but I was going, I think I'm equipped to navigate us through these choppy waters that is the nonprofit organization life. And so I'm going, I have all of these tools in my tool belt, thanks to Cynthia Levin at Unicorn Theater and Jean Mackey at TYA. And so I'm going, oh, I know that we need bylaws. I know how board meetings run. I know when those things pop up about marketing or about grants, what should we apply for? I'm going, I know the answers.
Well, they're lucky indeed to have you. For some organizations we focused on, they were created before the pandemic, and how have they navigated these turbulent waters? Your organization was born of the pandemic. What have been the challenges that you've faced, or some of them, and how have you solved them, or where have you looked to solve or resolve them?
One of the biggest things is communication is very hard in the age of the pandemic because you don't have that face-to-face interface, right? Like everything is online. All of our board meetings are through Zoom. And so a lot of our communication is through emails. And because we're not a large board, but big personalities, it's very hard to just be able to say, we're going to concentrate on these 3 things when we have these 20 things that we want to do. And so right now it's trying to figure out that rollout process of what do we need to do immediately? What are TCF's immediate needs to serve the community's immediate needs? And so to help with that, we are actually having a strategic planning event. And so we're going to map out what does the next year look like? We're going to do SWOT analysis of what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and really focus on the overall health of the organization, because when people that are working in any business are happy and satisfied, the work is benefited from it, right? Like, you want happy people, and we do have a working board too. So the fact that we have also that time commitment layer of, we can't have just a board meeting once a month and, a couple of committee meetings here and there. We need, to do at least an hour or two of work a week on this to make sure that it's maintained and nothing is slipping through the cracks. But I think strategic planning will definitely help. And, we also realize that TCF was born in the pandemic, but it will be surviving after COVID is done. And so I think we're always going to have to change and grow and diversify what our main goals are.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's push forward. We're vaccinated, or the COVID wanes, or both. You're into your strategic plan, but what kind of did you envision? My guess is that in the beginning, you and Jake and others had, okay, it's immediate, but what's next, or what's after that?
I think we're always going to want to have our food bank running. We're always going to want to have that volunteer ensemble accessible to those who need it. And we're definitely going to build on the financial relief. So on top of that emergency grant, again, we do want to be able to offer financial assistance for productions. But another thing that we're looking forward to in the future is to be able to kind of host master classes. Sometimes with theater, sometimes if you don't get a degree, or you are in high school and you still have a hunger for knowledge before you get to college, we want to be able to offer classes that are at no cost to the participants, and have an auditioning technique class, and we could have a stage makeup class, and those kinds of things for the community, just to get them involved, and also solve questions that some people just don't have the access to. We want to be really accessible to everyone. And so accessibility also leads into another initiative that is in its infant phase, right? It's an idea right now, but we want to be able to do generative arts grants for the BIPOC community. And so that would include, say, a Black playwright has this play and they want to do a Zoom meeting. We'll let them use TCF's Zoom account free of charge. We'll help them with their marketing. We'll help them, if they need help casting. So we want to have that kind of resource of the undervalued population in the theater community. Sometimes in Kansas City, it's very hard to break through those barriers. And while there's been growth over the year with equity and equality inside of theaters, TCF is very, very committed to kind of doing that behind the scenes work. We have some things planned for Black History Month and for Pride Month. And so we just definitely want to be the ultimate resource for those people that don't always have access to that information, or just don't have the resources, but they should. And so we want to give it to them, and that is in our future plans.
Well, I love that you're looking forward, and you're not a flash in the pan, so to speak.
No, we are doing everything we can, because again, a lot of major cities have these theater community funds going on, and Kansas City just doesn't have it. And so we're just going, this can be like a real organization and a lasting organization for the community. And then right now we're kind of focused on theater, but this is just my vision for it, right? But I would love to include the opera, include the ballet, and really just include, artists, painters, sculptors, and be in like a true just performing arts, visual arts in general community fund to just help as many people as we can. Because again, the work is unstable. You might get a contract for 3 months, 6 months, but you might not work 6 months out of the entire year. And so a lot of people are gig workers. So we also want to support people that own their own businesses to kind of see them through when they have less theater work. And, if they teach yoga, we can host a TCF yoga session and be able to give them funds to help support their other interests.
Well, it's the Theater Community Fund. Alexandria, thank you so much for sharing with us what you're all about. Folks, you can go check it out at www.theaterfundkc.org. Lend a hand, support, bring our arts workers back, help them survive and thrive. And that's what it's all about. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to KC Cares, Kansas City's nonprofit voice. We're produced by Charitable Communications, and we're proudly sponsored by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. If you'd like to be a guest on KC Cares or underwriting opportunities to support what we're doing, please visit kccaresonline.org and spread the love. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio, and on Instagram at KC Cares Online. And actually, that's Facebook at KC Cares Radio and Twitter and Instagram at KC Cares Online. And catch us on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Thank you for listening to KC Cares.